Hi everyone, it's Marie and welcome back to my channel Milan. At first, I'm very sorry if it's gonna be dark in some time because I almost accidentally went to a raw vegan chocolate tasting event and it was kinda long story. So it's gonna be dark in like 30 minutes. But anyway, I'm in the mood of speaking to you, and today's topic is minimalism in the digital life. At first, what do I mean by minimalism? I have quite a few videos on minimalism. You can watch them on my channel. But usually, when we talk about minimalism, we think about the material things. But minimalism is not only about having or not having some clothes, some stuff in your life like material things. Minimalism also means that you don't consume any unnecessary information. You don't allow any unnecessary emotions to go through you, etc., etc., etc. Today we speak about the digital minimalism, and it is a very important part of the minimalist life in the modern world because we consume tons of information like every day, every hour, almost every minute. We scroll through Instagram, we go on Facebook pages, we go on YouTube, we consume information in audiobooks. So for the modern people, digital minimalism is not less essential than the usual minimalism, like the material one. So I've prepared for you like several tips that I do or don't do so that I stay a digital minimalist, and I accomplished digital minimalism in my life like maybe a few months ago. So all in all, my tips on staying a digital minimalist. At first, if we speak about the social media platforms are now so overcrowded with tons of information, tons of bloggers, influencers, somebody else's who like put the words into your mouth and you just stop thinking by yourself. If we speak about social media, a few months ago I just unfollowed almost everyone. I just unfollowed almost everyone on Instagram, on Facebook, on YouTube, and now I only follow or subscribe to people or to the channels that I only really read, watch or listen to, that I am really interested in. Like in Instagram, I keep my subscribing feed under like 100, and it's basically it's too much actually. I actually have plans to unsubscribe even more, like 50 people, because when you are subscribed to so many people, you have so much information in your feed, and you just scroll through it and you consume it not wisely. You don't really feel what you consume. If you have only like 50 people that you follow, you know them, you are interested in them, and you really want to consume this information. You open your Instagram and you really want to read this post, you really want to see these pictures to get inspiration or something, you really want to follow these people, and you don't get too much information. While I used to follow like 300, 500, and I just opened my feed and it was like a mess, and I just couldn't do anything with it. I just couldn't do anything with this information, and I was scrolling and scrolling and scrolling, and it was so pointless, it was so senseless. It was just a wasting of time. While now, when I open my Instagram or YouTube, I just see only people that I really want to follow, that I really want to know information about. I only follow people that means something for me. I don't necessarily need to know them like in person. It may be some bloggers, some influencers, but still I really value their opinion. I really value what they are saying, what they are posting, or they are the artists that I admire. And that's all. That's basically enough, and I would really recommend you, if you want to reduce the amount of input information in your life, just start with unsubscribing the unnecessary channels that you don't really watch or that you don't really read, I would really recommend you to try this thing. So my second tip is about the TV. All in all, I don't turn on the TV ever, never, for like years now. I don't know, it's been 4 years since I watched the TV for the last time. You know, in my family it was not like something usual to watch the TV. We didn't really have the TV connection since I was, 5 years old. Anyway, if I was like in somebody else's house, if I was at my friend's, I could watch the TV like for some time, and it was never something good. The TV is this source that brings you only negative information, that makes you believe that everything in the world is purely negative. Oh, bamboo. Okay. So the TV is a source that doesn't bring you anything good, like really doesn't bring you anything good. Watching Netflix is something like wasting of your time. Basically, I don't really know what Netflix is, but everyone in English speaking social media talks about this, and probably if you watch this video, you know what Netflix is, but I'm sorry. All the TV channels, they are like for nothing. They're made only to keep you in this system of society, and you are just like a small tiny part of society that only can do his or her job, that only can like think in the box of the head. And TV never expands your mind. TV never makes you think across the borders. TV never makes you think like an individual personality, individual soul. Sorry for my pronunciation of the word individual. It's kind of hard for Russians to pronounce. So if you want to stay a digital minimalist, TV is not really for you. And also, if you just want to stay a person with a clear mind, TV is also not for you. Just forget this. I'm moving to a new apartment in a few days, and there is a TV there, but I just plugged out the TV, this thing for the TV connection, and I just put it in the cupboard, and the TV will be left for me only to watch some films from my hard drive, and I'm not really sure if I will use it, like really. And speaking about the negative impact of the TV and the negative information that it produces, we're slowly moving to the part where I just want to speak to you about the kind of information that you consume. You basically have different kinds of information that you consume, and what I only recommend to consume is the content that develops you somehow, that brings you some real value. If somebody speaks about something in a negative way, it's the minute where you should just stop and think whether if you really need this source of information, because the negative information makes you think negative. And when you think negative, you attract negative things into your life. Thus, your life becomes something negative. So it kind of starts with the negative information. If you don't produce the negative thoughts from yourself, by yourself, you will get the negative information from outside. And you really need to track this information. You really need to filter the information that you consume. For example, me, I at least try to consume only the information that develops me somehow, that brings me some value. But if I see that something is purely negative, or something is just made for nothing, for just some dull fun, or for just wasting of time or something, I just stop immediately and think if I really need to continue reading or watching or listening to it. And in like almost 100% of the time, the answer is no. I don't need to continue this, because either my mood will be more negative, or I will be upset, or I'll just waste my time. And my time is something valuable, and your time is something valuable. Your time is actually your money, your actual money, your time of life. So do you actually want to spend your real money on something that will bring you only harm, that will bring you like something negative. Instead of listening to some negative news, like seeing what's going on in the country, seeing what's going on in the politics, I would just suggest consuming something valuable, consuming some information that makes you think on a new level, that makes you vibrate on the new level. There are a lot of people that say really valuable things, that just say 1 or 2 or 3 words and everything is clear and you are on a new level of your consciousness. That is what is valuable, but not all this negative stuff, not all this news, not all this news about the accidents, not all these articles about why you don't actually have to think positive or something, not just this psychology or something, because the information that society tries to put in your head is basically just trash. All these news are not new. All this information is not new. It's spoken by millions of people, and one person tells something, then another person hears it and he or she retells and again and again and again and again, and basically this information has nothing valuable. But the actual valuable information is in ourselves, is in our souls, is inside. So you would better just look inside and work with your thoughts. Just go inside of yourself and understand what thoughts, what blocks, what negative stuff or positive stuff in yourself you have. Just reveal your talents, just do something that will bring you value. So I suggest only consuming valuable information, and think like 100 times if you really need this source of information or if you don't. So here you may ask me, like, okay, if I don't have to consume the information that society produces for me, then what should I consume? What personally I do, I just started to replace the entertaining YouTube videos or senseless articles or some senseless posts on Instagram where somebody speaks about his or her success and just does it for nothing. I just started to replace this senseless information with some valuable audiobooks, and the audiobooks are very good because you can listen to them while you do something else. For example, I have like a morning routine now that I get up, I do the stretching, and while I do the stretching and some exercises for my back, for my posture, while I do all this procedure, I just listen to some audiobooks. So my favorite source of information that makes me vibrate on the particular frequency, that teaches me a lot of stuff in life, that makes me think the particular way, that teaches me the world of manifestation and the law of attraction. And I think I will make a separate video about this author, about this series of books, but now I just can say that if you want to replace the senseless information with something really valuable, just read the reality transurfing books by Vadim Zeland. They are like pure gold, but I will make a separate video about this. And my last kind of advice for you, maybe I'm just repeating myself, but still I want to speak about it like separately, is that you don't really need to consume much information. You don't really need to consume that much that society teaches us. Like, we are taught to consume information like almost every minute of our day. But if we only consume the information, we don't have any time left to produce this something valuable, to create something valuable, or just to work with ourselves. You really want to have your time just with yourself, just in the silence, that you can like understand what you have consumed. Like, you can feel, you can work with yourself, you can work on your self-growth. So that's why sometimes during my morning routine I just don't listen to anything, or sometimes I just have the moments of silence with only myself, and it helps really a lot. It helps a lot to clear your mind and to feel what actually you need to consume and what actually you don't need to consume. So sometimes, and like really often, instead of scrolling through Instagram or instead of consuming the senseless information or even the valuable information if it's too much, sometimes it's better to just go for a walk with yourself, to just sit in the silence, to do the meditation, or just to think about your life, or just to create something. Because if your space is kind of clean, is kind of empty, I mean both material and like this metaphysical space, you have a lot of energy that you can use for creation, that you can use for producing something new, that you can use for creating something valuable, whether it's a project that you work on or it's just self-growth, whatever, you can use it on producing something valuable. So first you like collect, you consume the valuable things in your life, like information in general. It can be the real information. It can be like learning how to vibrate on the particular frequency. It can be the state of energy. It can be the state of mind, the way of thinking, like the exact thoughts that you need to do, the visualization practices, something else. You just consume information, you do the practice, and then it's time for you to produce something. It's time for you not only to absorb the energy around you, but just to produce the energy around you, just to vibrate on the high frequency and to be this light in the world that can bring something valuable to the world. For example, I consume information, I consume something from the real masters, and now, for example, I just give it away. I just give my valuable things away. I just give my way of thinking and my frequency, my energy to you, and you can feel, you can learn something, and you can resonate with my frequency, and so that you will have the particular state of being, state of mind, state of energy, and you can create something as well. And it's never-ending process. So this is how the real creation works, basically. So the digital minimalism leads you to your real, authentic creation, actually, because when you have a lot of empty space in your head and in your heart and just in your body, you have a lot of time and a lot of space to create something new and to hear something new from the energy around you, from the space around you, and not to be among these millions of people who just repeat after others, who just retell the stories, who just rewrite the articles, who just produces the senseless content that is basically energetically dead. If you want to add something valuable to the world, spend a lot of time in the silence and with yourself. So I think I'm rambling here for forever and it's getting darker. And what I actually wanted to remind you is that my podcast is now available on every platform that you can just imagine, every podcast app, including Google Podcasts, iTunes, Spotify, or any other popular apps. I personally just listen to the podcast in iTunes. Anyway, just use what is comfortable for you. My podcast is now available and I'm planning to record a new podcast episode just right now. So when you watch to this video, the next podcast episode is already online. Just go and check it out. Type in Miline Podcast everywhere where you can listen to the podcast and find me there if you want to dive deep with me a little bit deeper than here into the world of the conscious life, into the world of eco-vegan, raw vegan lifestyle, all that stuff. That's pretty much it for today. Thank you if you have watched this video till the end. It means a lot to me and I would be really happy if you find this video something valuable, and if so, you can share this video with your friends that you think may need this information too, that may consider this information valuable as well. if you do so, just big thank you to you, and I will see you in the next video, and I will hear you in the next podcast. Have a great day, have a great week, and I will see you soon. Goodbye.